Alright, so we should see. Alright, let me blow this up.
Is it recording that?
It's recording the screen. Alright. So you guys should see this in your notebooks, and then this is where I'm going to put my calculator. So the other thing you're going to need is your graphing calculator. So you can get that.
Do I have it in my bag?
There's like none over here now.
I do.
I got you.
Don't fall, please.
I haven't used this thing in a grip.
It's still. Are we gonna be? Oh my god, my highlighter.
Alright, so we're going to be working a lot with our calculator for the rest of the year. So today I'm going to explicitly show you how to use the calculator. And in the process, I'm going to show you what you're going to be doing for tonight's homework. Okay? You'll notice that these notes, the first section, it has different pictures of the buttons from your calculator. Okay? So, what is missing from this set of notes so far, though?
Title.
The side thing.
What is the main idea? Okay? So here it goes through a list of steps on which buttons to press in order to type in equations. So what should the main idea be for this section?
Directions.
Button directions, maybe? Put them together? Okay. So on the board, we have button directions.
You know you can program games on the calculator?
Yeah, you can.
I made Pong.
How?
YouTube.
Alrighty. So I want you to read through those different button steps. Familiarize yourself with your pictures. Familiarize yourself with the steps.
Oh, there it is.
So I will go over it in a moment, but I just want you to read through the directions.
Found it.
Alright,
Then go back for the track.
so pause for a moment. Okay. I see some of you, so I didn't ask you to start pressing buttons, but I'm glad that some of you are. Okay. So what does the first step say?
White.
Y equals. Press the Y equals button. Where is that button?
Top left.
Top left. That's okay. We're gonna if you press the Y equals button, it has all of these different equation spots. This is where you're going to type in each of the equations that go with your functions, okay? So it says next type in your equation. So we're briefly going to go over how to enter in each of the types of equations. So in order to type in X, which is step 2A, what button do I need to hit?
The XTOM.
Right. So press that and X should pop up. So you practice
Where's
your
that
should look
X?
like that.
Here.
It is next to the green button, I believe. So right there. Okay. Alright. I want you to press graph now. I want you to look at how it looks visually. So you should get a straight line. Top right. Does anyone not see the screen?
Me.
Me.
Yeah.
So you type something. Can I show this real quick? So sometimes you hit an error in, you get a screen that looks like this. So his says error, invalid dimensions. So that is something that I need to take care of. But also, take a look at his screen. What do you notice about what's typed in on his? Numbers.
Letters.
I don't want any of these. So in order to do that, we gotta press clear on them, okay? Because I only want the one with the X.
This happened to mine.
So I'll show you in a sec.
So I can draw.
All right. So now press graph.
What's this?
I'm just gonna change your window.
Oh, it's going up and up.
I'll teach you how to do that later on. All right, there you go.
Oh, sweet.
Everyone good? Good? Okay. So you should see that. I want you to press Y equals again. So you should have Y1 as equal to X. Everyone got that? Do not clear it. Press the down arrow. Okay? We're going to type in a quadratic function. What does a quadratic function have to have?
Quadrant.
Square root.
Square, not square root.
Square.
Squared. It's just squared. So it has to have an exponent of 2. So you're going to type in X again. And then hit which button?
The one over
The
there.
arrow. The
Not
arrow.
the
X2.
X squared. Simplify your life. With the caret button, you're going to have to press 2 buttons. With the X squared button, you only have to hit 1. Okay, so that button is right here.
I did it.
Oh, good.
Can I hit graph?
Once you do that, hit graph again.
What is this?
Oh, that's so cool.
So now, if you have a newer calculator, it appears in 2 different colors.
Wait, what do I press after?
Graph.
That's too cool.
For those of you who have older calculators, it's just a black line. Okay? All
Wait,
right,
hold
good.
on. Mine.
That's so cool. It's in 2 colors.
What do we press now?
Graph.
That'd be cool if you were to stop off
Oh, can I show yours?
Sure.
So Matt got a screen that says error, syntax. So the one that Jeremy had said invalid dimensions. Okay. If you select quit, it'll take you back to the normal blank calculator screen. If you scroll down to option 2, go to, it will take you to where your error is. So if you press enter, what do you notice about his second equation?
No, there's no X.
There's no X. You gotta have,
I pressed the X.
okay, so repress it. Actually clear that. X squared. Okay.
Finesse.
Now press graph.
Oh, it has the colors 41.
Alright, click Y equals again.
Did we go?
Scroll down to Y3.
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 Have we go with like X -1?
Not yet.
Okay.
What I want to do now is we're going to practice a square root function. Where do you see a square root symbol on your calculator?
If you go up.
You have to press second and
Good.
X squared.
Second, and then X squared. And then this symbol should pop up.
So second.
Where's
X squared.
Oh,
The
got it.
button you press the.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Type X inside of it.
Oh, the X and the 2.
So these are opposites, square and square root. So press graph now.
Graph.
You should see a third line pop up. Okay.
That one was less interesting.
True. Press Y equals again.
The image is sharper on this.
Go scroll down to Y4. Now, I want to type in an exponential function. So in your notes, you have the example 2 to the power of x. So let's use 2, just because you're used to it. So 2, how do I create an exponent that's not 2?
You go to the up, then you press
The
What's the
thingy.
little caret button? So press the caret button. And what does the exponent have to be here?
What character?
3, 2.
2, nope, nope, it's not a number.
What character?
Oh, X.
X. So now I type my X button, and it should look like that.
What
Should we
character?
graph it?
Then press graph, yeah. Get out.
Whoa.
What's better, charging it or putting batteries in?
That's so cool.
That.
It's right on the line.
Yeah.
Alright, we have one more function to learn about. This one takes the most amount of work in pressing buttons to make. So go to Y equals, scroll down to Y5.
It's green.
Oh my god.
Scroll down to Y5.
Why?
The last function we need to do is absolute value. Okay. So you'll notice in your notes right here, there's a little screen that looks exactly like your calculator one. Okay. What button do I have to press to get to this screen?
Math.
Math. So press the math button. It's underneath the green button.
Man.
Okay?
You go over one, you go down.
Use your arrows to go over one, so that way instead of math being highlighted, NUM is highlighted. Short for number.
What you do there? Should press like.
Then listen.
Then
Okay? What does your directions say in your notes?
After the value bars, press math, then scroll right to the num tab and tap another option.
Abs.
Abs, option 1. So press enter.
Where is enter?
Oh, it's the absolute value.
It's absolute value, okay?
Wait,
What am I going to type inside? X. Press graph.
Whoa. Oh, that's too cool.
Okay?
it goes over that.
So you now have 5 graphs, 5 functions on one single screen.
Oh, I forgot.
Here we go.
We like your.
Alright. So that's how we're going to be practicing how to type those in continually for this unit, okay? Now, we're going to move on to the next section. So press Y equals again. And I want you to clear out all of these equations.
Whoa.
And then scroll back up to Y1.
I put 5
You got
for
more than
the X power, and it did so cool.
Alright. So now you should be in the middle of your notes. So this next section. Everyone see this? Okay. The main idea says, how do these graphs change on your calculator? So we're going to observe one function changing based on it having
Which
different
would be
pieces
clear.
in its equation. Can someone read step 1 in that section? Jeremy.
Type in x to the power 2
Yeah.
the calculator into the y1 space.
Great. So in the section y1, type in x squared. Someone please read step 2. Asa.
Then type in x2 plus 2 into the calculator. Into the y2 with space. What happened to
The y2 space.
Oh,
Okay.
y2 space.
So if I scroll down, there's y2. What do I want to type in again?
X squared.
X squared
Plus 2.
plus 2. Then press graph.
Wait,
Giraffe.
What?
what?
Leo.
Not into the.
So scroll down to option 2.
Yeah.
Press enter.
I didn't get both of them.
Option 2.
I don't
So
know
what are you
that.
missing
Maybe
from
the
your
second
second
one?
equation that I wrote right here?
I want
No.
like a rainbow.
What's the second one?
What?
It's
I
right
want
here.
to get out of like the exponent.
What are you missing,
I went
Asa?
like that. Then I went.
So what are you squaring in both of these though?
2 or x.
X, but you don't have any x's there.
Wait.
How do I get out of that?
Oh.
You just press the right arrow. Like.
You have to do y squared.
Anyone having trouble?
Yeah.
So you have both of your equations in
Whoa.
one spot for one equation.
Oh, what the?
You need y1 and y2 filled out.
I made, and
How do you do
then
this
I
again?
Well,
put
mine
in more numbers, and I made a rainbow.
Mine doesn't
So
look
how
like
do you do
this.
this? 'Cause they're-
Mine looks
So you gotta go
Four
back
now.
up here because just having squared is nothing. So clear. Press X. Where's X? Good. X squared.
Rainbow.
Then I went there.
Yeah.
I have to-
So that's it. That's y1. Scroll down. So now you want to enter in x squared plus 2.
Then
Oh,
you're
you
like,
want both of them? Oh.
Great graph.
Giraffe.
How are you doing, Jeremy?
Good. But my graph.
So you only have one equation typed in. You should have clear that. X squared, normal x squared by itself in y1. Okay. Now scroll down to y2. Now you need this.
Oh.
Okay. All right. When you have both of those typed in,
Oh, crap.
this is what you should see on your calculator. How is the red line different than the blue line?
What? The red line's smaller than the blue line?
It's not smaller. It looks that way.
There.
No.
It's plus 2.
Has a deeper.
What does that mean?
It's on the y axis. On the
Closer to
two.
the y.
On the 2.
Yeah.
So, in essence, the line was moved where?
Up.
Up
2.
2, okay? So on this line right here where it says what happened to the graph, right, moves up 2 units. So we have our parent graph, which is at the origin, and the new graph is moved up. So we're going to continue looking at how graphs move. So now we're going to be in the last section of our notes. Please go back to your y equals screen.
Should we put them all?
Do not clear y1, because we're going to be
Aw.
using y1 for the remainder of class.
I thought you were gonna say like the remainder.
But what does this first step right here in the last section want us to type in? Jeremy?
You subtract the number from x2, example x2 minus 3.
Alright, so type in x squared minus 3. Let me give a direction before you do that, before you clear this. Can I use some of this in my new equation?
Yeah.
What can I use?
The x.
X squared. So instead of clearing the whole equation, use your arrows to scroll over to where the plus sign is. And you should have a delete button. It's next to the arrows to the left. It says DEL. Does everyone see that button?
It'd be less buttons to just clear it and then.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Sometimes
say.
it actually would be more, though, depending on how long the equation is.
True.
Okay? So that's why I'm teaching it to you now, and it's easy. Alright, so press, instead of deleting it, just type over it. So press minus 3, and it should change.
Should we
Will you
graph
ever
it?
have like this thing quiz?
Yeah.
Really?
Alright, press graph.
How do you know we're not going to just put like notes in or a calculator?
I guess there's that thing called trust.
Oh, that thing.
How did this graph move? How is the red line different from the original blue line?
Down 2 units.
Not 2,
Three.
3 units, okay? So the first one moves down 3 units. Okay? Go back to y equals. This time, can I have someone read step 2?
I will.
Thank you, Matt.
You place a negative sign in front of the x2 question mark example negative x2.
Great. So this one I do want to clear because I have a lot more written here than I need. So I'm going to fully clear that. Remember to press the negative button and not the subtraction button. Again, they are 2 different buttons. So negative x squared.
Where's the
Oh, I
negative?
got it.
It is next to the decimal point at the very bottom of your calculator.
Negative what?
Negative x squared.
Whoa, it's upside down.
Wait,
It's
what?
upside down.
I don't think I did it correct.
I didn't do it
Oh
correct.
no, I did.
because
I did.
It's not upside down for me. Should we graph it?
Okay,
Yeah.
Oh.
it's like double U's. It was
So there's
like,
still something
what's
that's
this
not
one?
right. Your first equation.
My
You saw this
phone
plus
is-
2. We want to delete that. Delete, delete, now graph.
This guy's supposed to be down.
There we go. Alright. So here's our graph. How is it different? Ooh, so you got an option to click go to. So press option 2. So you use a subtraction sign. You gotta use a negative sign. So just type the negative.
Oh, you don't have the case thing on it.
I'll do it.
So what happened here? It's
Move down.
Opposite. Negative.
Well, no, it flopped over.
flipped over, okay? So graph flips. Alright, we're almost done. Alright, we're going to go back to our y equals screen again. Please clear out y2. Delete it.
Delete it.
The whole thing, not y1, just y2.
Wait.
There are parenthesis buttons on this calculator.
Oh, I see him.
Okay, so right here, type in parentheses x plus 1, and then the squared goes on the outside.
X plus 1?
X plus 1
Oh, inside of it?
inside of it. Close the parentheses, and then square it.
Oh.
Or then square?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Then press graph.
This is the exact same thing.
Should not be.
Whoa, what's
Oh, never mind. Nope. No.
No, that was just the first one. Cause
Yeah.
it stopped.
So how did this red line change?
Double.
Oh, it's like a
They went
shadow.
negative
I
to
think
the
I
left.
should-
Wait, what do I have to do?
So we're on step 3 in the last part
It's like
of the
those
notes.
illusionals.
So how did this red
What
line
the-
move?
Move slightly to the side.
Which
Left.
side?
Left.
Left.
Negative.
Which is interesting because it said plus 1. Where would we think plus 1 would actually lead us on a horizontal movement?
Plus 1 on the
Right.
right.
On the right side, wouldn't
Right.
it?
Oh, yeah, that's
Horizontal, okay?
horizontal.
But in this case, when it's inside parentheses, does it move to the positive side?
No.
Moves to the negative side. So what do we know about that?
It's opposite.
It's opposite. Okay? So this one moves left 1 unit.
Left one.
Moves left 1 unit.
Oh, then we do it with negatives. I see how it is.
Then do the last one on your own.
Should we clear it?
Y2 should be, you can clear it, or you can again just
Absolutely.
change the negative, the subtraction sign, to a positive sign.
Flips to the
Alright.
right.
You mean negative.
Flips to the right. Moves right 1 unit.
Good.
Is this like, can we bring this home or are we like, not?
So I probably would bring it home.
Okay.
Because when you should start studying for your quiz on Friday,
I don't study. I just guess.
yeah, that's the exact problem. Okay? So now the whole page of notes should be filled out. We've observed how graphs move from in a comparison to their parent basic equation. Okay? Alright. Keep your calculators out.
Aw,
I'm going to hand out the homework and we're going to do the first problem together.
Oh, thank you.
no. Equal. Should it clear everything?
I would not,
Okay.
simply because the first one will help you on the example.
Oh.
Oh, that's rough. Fair enough.
Oh, wow.
So right when you get there, you do.
Okay, here we go. Boom. Function.
Alright. I'm going to switch this to Joe's computer. Okay, so your name and today's date should be on this.
I'm so confused.
That's why I'm going to go over it. So this says, bring your calc home.
Oh wait, by the way, the word box is still like cut off.
I know, I'm going to go over that actually right now. So if you scroll down, you should see the top part of Word options. So it says Word options. It's like a word bank. Okay? So the first word is up. Second word is down.
All around.
Then we have right. And then left. And then units.
Wait, how would we just use units?
I'm going to give an example. So those are the words that got cut out.
Can you use them more than once or just?
Yeah, you can use them. Yep. Alright, so back at the top, we say, what happens to the graph when the equation y equals x squared becomes y equals x squared plus 7? So you're going to take your calculator.
Should we clear this every time?
Maybe. You might want to look ahead. So if you go to y equals, you see how this says y equals x squared? Do you see how right now this also says y equals x squared? Do we want to change this one?
No.
No, keep this one the same for right now, okay? But scroll down to y2. What's the equation that should get written here?
Oh, plus 7.
X squared plus 7, so clear that.
Do we have the parentheses or not?
Do not do parentheses. This one does not have parentheses.
Then graph that.
And graph it.
Plus 7.
There, should we say like?
So the difference between the blue graph and the red graph is that this second graph is moved up 7 units. So I'm going to say the second graph is moved up 7 units. I gave more lines than what was needed. So this is what I will say. Some of these have absolute value, so you got to remember the buttons to press. Math, scroll to the right, ABS. Some of them have square root. Okay? You are not drawing a graph, you're just giving me a simple statement like this.
Oh,
Okay? You'll notice that as the questions go on, like I didn't put lines here, I gave you a sentence starter. But for the rest of them, I'm not expecting a full sentence, just tell me what the movement is, how many units, and in what direction. Okay?
We have time to prove it.
No, I wouldn't say so. So please fill out the back side of your daily grading sheet. Turn this off.
Do you include the body volume in that?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like the class, 7th period class notes off.